This is my diversity and action plan. To start, I'd like to go over my plans for what I would like to do within Little Falls Community Middle School. The area of anti-bias education is where I will focus for this project. I was inspired after our first assignment where we had to ask the students if they felt diversity added to the classroom. And what I found was that a lot of my students actually didn't know what diversity meant. Currently, Little Falls Community Middle School has an absence of multicultural education. We are 95% Euro-American, with some students not having connections outside of Little Falls. During this course, I found myself reflecting between both areas that I've taught here as well as in other areas. And I found that when I was in schools that had higher diversity, I also created lessons that were infused with more rich multicultural education. What I'd like to do is adopt multicultural education at LFCMS. I'd like to increase multicultural content into student curriculum. My plan is to implement this during advisory, my art classroom, and other content areas. If you look to the right here, this is the demographic makeup of Little Falls community and where we are sitting with our different ethnic backgrounds. During advisory, currently we are connecting to our students in small groups during advisory, and this would be the perfect place to start introducing our schools to multicultural education and what diversity means. During my personal research, I posed questions to students from this course. Does diversity add to the classroom, or what does diversity bring? And if yes, how does diversity add to the classroom? I was surprised to find that my 8th grade students didn't know the definition of diversity. They had a little idea of what they thought it could be, but most of them had to research and look up the definition. We are working on teaching the whole child. However, we are doing a disservice to our students by not bringing in culture into our lessons. Some of my staff that I currently work with do have culturally diverse lessons, but overall, I don't think we, on a regular basis, teach our students what different ethnic and cultural backgrounds are. So here's my advisory proposal. Within our current advisory calendar, I believe that we can dedicate some lessons to diversity. We can use current online resources to enhance discussion and introduce students to new content. From here, we will then work towards incorporating culture into our classrooms. Some resources are Teaching Tolerance and Scholastic. We need to work together to build a strong foundation for our students so when they graduate, they are aware of culture, race, identities they may not have connected while living in Little Falls. I believe that we could use one day a week in our current calendar and devote that to diversity. And depending on how the calendar looks, we can increase that throughout the year. This could also be increased as well by adding multicultural content into lessons within the classroom content outside of advisory. But to start, I would like to introduce it in advisory with our small groups that we have a connection with and can really spring discussion. This is a look at what multicultural education will look in the art classroom, springing off of advisory. My plan is to incorporate more cultural history into my current lessons, so I'm not necessarily creating new lessons. I'm just looking at a way to rework what I currently have to bring in different areas around the world. Create student passports where they can earn a stamp after creating artwork from cultures around the world. Build relationships and collaborate with local businesses and families to enhance authentic lessons per regions, and then connect and network with others around the world using technology. So I will walk you through a lesson that I have adapted to create a more cultural diverse lesson. This lesson was creating masks in my classroom, and I thought what better way to connect it to an area that finds masks as a ritual or religious purpose. So here's my first portion of my assignment, Africa art. So I have created my lesson objectives, what the students are going to learn. Then I've talked a little bit about the region of Africa. I've created a lesson assignment, which is a hands-on activity and also a quiz. And then I've also implemented and added my vocabulary. From there, we're going to talk about Africa and how the culture sees fertility and mask as initiation rites and also spirits and ritual beliefs. And then we will move into examples of African masks, what they were used for, how they used them, what they were created out of. And here are some examples reflecting that. And then finally, we'll go into our actual assignment, which is a hands-on assignment where the students will create their own mask in spirit of and resemblance of African masks. They will also be able to create one that is a reflection of their culture as well. I have an alternative assignment for those students that would not like to create a hands-on activity and would actually like to create more of a presentation or presentation of this project as well. And then the students will end the lesson with a warm-up activity of a crossword puzzle and then complete with a quiz. How things are going to change by bringing multicultural education into Little Falls Community Middle School. Advisories will incorporate multicultural lessons weekly. Teachers are willing to look at current lessons and infuse multicultural content. Students will have an understanding of diversity, race, multicultural education. Students will have a global perspective, and students will be more prepared when faced with diverse settings outside of Little Falls. My personal and institutional steps to create change: support from the administration, lessons prepared for advisory, curriculum manipulated, discussion with other staff's willingness to change current lessons and strategies, professional development, in-service days dedicated to multicultural education, and resources. In most cases, we are not able to stand alone to champion change. So what am I going to do to enlist help through this journey? Create and have support by my administration. My building principal is always looking for new ways to create opportunities for students and staffs to grow personally. Staff willingness to champion change and enhance student learning, and promote and teach diversity building-wide. Thank you.